Salutations, Ginger League. Welcome to Super Geeked, where we discuss all things super. Might notice the setup's all a bit different today. We had a bit of technical issues, but as they say, the show must go on. So Kev and I are going to be recording. We're just going to be recording our answers to these questions separately. And using my editorial magic, I'll just stitch them together as we go. Also means it's probably going to be a shorter episode as well. So you're welcome. So let's start with our first question. Once again, sourced by Kevin Tierney. Kev, thank you so much. Daredevil Born Again is not a continuation of the Netflix shows. Will this help or hinder the mythos, and is it going to annoy fans of the Netflix shows? Okay, speaking as a fan of the Netflix shows, yes, it does annoy me. I was a really big fan, as I've stated many times. I was really worried that this was going to go down this kind of diluted pathway thing. And yeah, it's kind of went down that path. Well, it's going to be diluted. Well, it looks like they're going down like maybe a multiverse angle. So we'll just have to see what happens with it. Maybe people will take to it, maybe people won't, but I'm not on board. Actors are right, but they should have let it be what it was. Okay, now we're moving swiftly on to D23. That expo has just dropped, and there was a cast of Thunderbolts announced, as well as trailers for Secret Invasion, Werewolf by Night, and of course Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But there's still nothing about the actors that were previously announced. So what's your thoughts? Kev, I'll let you take the first point on this one.
I mean, all the announcements that were brought out at D23, I mean, they had a list out of actors who they were saying these people have been cast, but it's nothing at all about who was who. And it's like, well, have they really been cast? If they're going to be in things that are coming out in 2024, I think these were for the cast for that, and some of them 2025. I believe that's when Disney end up with all the Fox Marvel characters, so they can use them without having to break any laws or contracts that Fox had with them when they bought them over. So like any X-Men and stuff won't be seen until 2025 at least, because of the way the contract works when Disney bought Fox over. So maybe that's why we're not hearing any cast about that. Maybe they're all for 2024 and 2025, so they won't start filming until like later on this year, early next year. So they're probably trying to keep the cast under wraps for them. But the trailers from D23, they were really, really good. I'm really looking forward to Secret Invasion series, because that's going to lead into Armor Wars as well. And a lot of the cast from that series looks amazing. I mean, they've got Oscar winners coming in for that, and it's like this series is going to either kill them or make Phase 5, because there's people going, oh, Phase 5 is it's going downhill since the multiverse has started, and it's like it's been up and down. It's not been a smooth sailing, especially with fans going against certain series that have come out. We'll touch on that later. But it's just the things that they're doing are, it doesn't seem to be that they're pandering to fans like what DC were said to be doing, and as we know, DC haven't pandered to fans. They've even just come out and said they didn't want to release the Snyder Cut because they didn't like it. They loved the Justice League as it was. But Yeah, I'm fairly looking forward to them all. The cast for Thunderbolts, I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, they're all just super soldiers." So, well, it's the characters they've got just now. Disappointed that Daniel Brühl's Zemo is not going to be in it. He could possibly in it. They've just tried to keep it quiet. He could be like one of the main villains. Abomination. There are people like, oh, he should be in it, and again, it might be. Maybe they want to see how things go with She-Hulk first to see whether he's going to be in further things and things like that. So it's people just annoyed. I think that things aren't going the way that they want it to. Obviously, Kevin Feige and the writers all have a vision of the way the multiverse saga is going to go, and they're not going to just stop it because a few people have said, "Oh, it should be this, it should be that," and I don't know. It's just strange how people are going after things, not giving it a chance. No trailers, just cast that have come out, and they're saying, "Oh, how's this going to work? How's that going to work?" It's all just super soldiers. So, well, Captain America, there was one super soldier, and that worked. So people are, we need to give it a chance. We can't just throw it under a bus just because we don't like some of the cast or because it's all just super soldiers. It's just the way things are, and people will still watch it no matter what. And it's just they need to give things a try. Um, the Werewolf by Night, uh, being a comedy, so I was expecting just straight horror with the trailer, but you know it could easily go down the comedy route. I mean, Werewolf by Night is a Moon Knight story, uh, so I mean, Moon Knight opened itself up to comedy, so it could easily be comedic. There's a few things that I'm hoping for it. Man Thing being in it, so his second time being in films, as you saw him in Thor Ragnarok on the tower. So hopefully we'll see more of that coming out. Hopefully we get to see Moon Knight telling a werewolf that he wants to find Dracula so he can find his fucking money. I mean, we need we need things like that. I think. Um, so hopefully that'll be good. I was hoping it would be straight horror, but comedy is just as good.
Okay, so the announcements at D23 I thought were pretty standard. It was stuff that we kind of already knew. Aside from Werewolf by Night, I was not expecting that, which was a very interesting choice and a really interesting concept to follow. Thunderbolts, again, what we knew that it was coming, we just didn't know what the kind of lineup was going to be. So I think the only one that really surprised a lot of people was Bucky Barnes' Winter Soldier, because a lot of people were thinking, like, he's not an anti-hero, he's a hero now. But he still has that kind of anti-hero thing about him. People won't really forgive him for the stuff that he did as Winter Soldier. So just got to see how that one's going to play. But if he's been included, then there's a reason behind it. And I'm all for Sebastian Stan getting more work because he's a brilliant actor. The Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer, again, it hits you in the feels. Well, I'm just really looking forward to it, really buzzed about it. I'm not surprised that they've not kind of revealed all the actors that were announced, because I think they want to keep something back. They want to keep teasing us a little bit. So keep the cards close to the chest. It's something that Kevin Feige is really good at. And finally, Secret Invasion. That is something I'm really intrigued about. Well, of course, Kobe Smulders, Samuel L. Jackson. Well, that's a pairing that has clearly worked. Martin Freeman in it, I'm quite surprised. I did not know he was going to be in it. And obviously, we've got the rest of the Secret Invasion angle. Did not give too much away, which is good. I'm glad that Don Cheadle is in it. And I'm just really interested to see where it goes and what has changed over the course of time for when the Skrulls came on the scene in Captain Marvel in the 90s to now. Because even in Spider-Man Far From Home, they were still allies with Nick Fury. Maybe they're upset that he just ditched Earth and went to live on a spaceship for a while and left them to it. Maybe they're just a wee bit pig sick of it. So we'll see what happens. But I'm intrigued. Let's now move on to the next point. Warner Brothers is still trying to find their Kevin Feige of their DCEU because Dan Lin didn't take the job. So the question is, did they mess up by not keeping Zack Snyder around? And who could possibly take DC forward? Kev, once again, because you are more DC inclined than I'm going to let you lead the charge on this one.
Again, back to DC. I mean, I think they're going to struggle to find somebody to come in and take over DC at Warner Brothers Discovery. I mean, they keep saying we're looking for our Kevin Feige. I mean, Kevin Feige's been working on Marvel since before 2008, before Iron Man and the Hulk. He was working, producing previous ones. I think his first one was one of the X-Men films. So he's been working on them for a long time. He's had a story in his head that he wants to tell. Stan Lee basically said, "When I go, I know that the films are going to be great because they're in the perfect hands for it. I know your vision." And DC don't have that. I mean, they had Zack Snyder, who came in and he done wonders. I mean, he saw the Dark Knight trilogy and he thought, I can do that on a bigger scale. And he thought, I'll go to them. And he went to them and they said, okay. And then he started and people liked it. And then he kept going and people liked it. And then obviously for personal reasons I had to leave Justice League. And I personally think that Warner Brothers decided to try and punish him by scrapping his version, and then when they get all this press saying release the Snyder cut, they're like, well, we may as well just do it. It's not going to go anywhere. They didn't believe in him because they saw things that Joss Whedon was doing that they liked, that they thought would push them into the future. They saw, oh, Joss Whedon done this for Avengers and that for Avengers with the two ones he done, and as good as those films were, he didn't quite hit the nail on the head with the Justice League, and they just need to spend some time sitting in a room going, what the fuck are we doing? They have no semblance of sanity over at Warner Brothers Discovery just now. It seems to be completely up in the air, and it's like they're in a wind tunnel just grabbing at things, going, oh, right, we'll do that. No, now that I've thought about that, I'll kick that away. The only scheduled films for now are The Flash, Black Adam, Shazam, and Blue Beetle. I don't think there's any other ones that are planned to be coming out anytime soon. Well, there's Aquaman 2 as well, but that's up in arms because of other things. And it's like problem after problem after problem. People are getting told to do not go to a DC film. Now, if the actors and producers and directors are getting told do not go to do a DC film because of everything that's happened, how are they going to find somebody that's going to come in and take charge of the entire division of DC with Warner Brothers? There's just nothing that could make anybody come in and say, right, I'll dedicate 10 years or 5 years. Here's my plan. Because you're going to go in and say, here's my plan, and they'll be like, right, that's great. And then 2 weeks later, they'll be like, oh, but we don't like that, we don't want that, and maybe change that. And it's not going to work. They need people to be able to come in with their ideas and just to let them go for it. Because that's what Kevin Feige done with phase 1 of the MCU. He said, right, I'll get this person in, I'll get that person in to direct these films. And it worked because he had faith in the people that were coming in and writing the stories. He said that this is where he wants it to go. And then they come in and they write the script. And he's like, all right, that's great. And he didn't change it. He didn't interfere. And then DC like, oh, Marvel's done this. Let's us do this. And they got Zack Snyder in, who was perfect for it. He had a vision, and he made it, and they scrapped it. And I just think that because of everything that is happening at Warner Brothers Discovery, it's going to be at least 5 or 10 years before anybody will come out and say, I'll come in and I'll do this, but I need complete creative control of this set. No interference. This is the way we're going to do it. And Warner Brothers need to let somebody come in, take charge of DC, and let them do it. If it fails, it fails. They can start again. But they need that. It has been one of the biggest source of their income for a long time, especially with all the Batman stuff that's come out. It seems to be the only thing that they want to be made is Batman and Joker. And it's like, DC do have other things that are happening, other heroes that could easily work. They just need to have the faith in their actors and the directors, the producers, to do these things. The fact that they're coming in and scrapping things for no other reason than, tax purposes is frankly ridiculous. And I do hope that somebody does come in and say, this is what we'll do. Let's do it. And I hope it is successful because, I don't want to stop seeing these films. I'll watch them. And if they're crap, I won't watch them again. But they need something positive to happen because it's not been happening for a long time.
Right, my own opinion. I don't think that anyone at this precise moment can save the DCEU. I think it's too much of a mess. There's too much infighting, too much politics behind the scenes. Actors are being told not to go near it. So obviously, higher-ups will be getting told the same. I know that they'll want a challenge, but there's a difference between a challenge and a dumpster fire, and this is becoming a dumpster fire very, very quickly. The fact that Dan Lin didn't take the job is definitely worrying, and it will send up smoke signals. If Zack Snyder was still on board, I think they would still be in trouble, actually, because people didn't like Man of Steel. People didn't like Batman v Superman. They were very polarized against it, and they were still polarized when Zack Snyder was making the Justice League. And then obviously, like the circumstances that happened, it step away. We got Justice League. It was an absolute nightmare. So the Snyder Cut was called for, and it seems like opinions had just massively turned when they really shouldn't have, because it was exactly the same Zack Snyder stuff that they were complaining about before. It was just carrying on with it. I'm sure that it's the whole hindsight is a wonderful thing, but I think if Zack Snyder hadn't left in the first place, I think we would still be complaining about it. And I still think it wouldn't have mattered because the higher ups have changed. And that's what's holding everything up. That's what's the problem. I don't think whoever's in the director's chair is really going to change it. And yeah, I don't see anybody taking it forward at the minute. I think they're having more bad press than good press. They need to kind of. I'm not a fan of rebooting and resetting, but they might need to flick the switch on this one. Our final point is around the perceived misogyny at Marvel at present moment. This is down to the fact that Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, they've all been getting review bombed. And we want to know, is it because of toxic masculinity? Is it because of toxic fans? Or is it a bit of both? So I'm going to jump in first with this one. I'm going to say that I don't necessarily think it's just toxic masculinity. I think it has a part to play in what has been happening and what's been said and what the outcomes have been. But I also think that the characters just aren't being given good service. I'm not saying anything bad about the actors. I think all the female actors that have been in it have been cast brilliantly. They're doing a great job. But I think the writing is letting them down. I think they're pushing so hard to try and be inclusive that they're forgetting the point of writing a strong character that we can relate to. And this is something that actually, it was a YouTuber, it was a female YouTuber. I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but she did bring up some good points that it seems like lately with female superheroes are not allowed to have weaknesses or show vulnerability because it makes them seem, well, weak. But the whole point is that every character needs to have a bit of vulnerability and a bit of weakness because it rounds them out. Like Captain Marvel seems like, totally untouchable. What Ms. Marvel, yes, she's got the teenage angst at the minute, but her powers are like, she's the first mutant. They now made her the first mutant in the MCU. So that's another thing that's ticking in the box of, like strong and won't really have any weaknesses. She-Hulk, I think She-Hulk is just not what people have been expecting. But those who've read the comics know that's what she's about, but it just maybe doesn't translate well for today's society because even a lot of women who are watching it don't connect with the character of She-Hulk, which is interesting to see. Well, again, the actress is doing a brilliant job, but they're just not connecting with it. So I would say there's a little bit of both. I think need to look at the characters from previous, because the first Wonder Woman movie was brilliant because there was that right mix of power and vulnerability about Gal Gadot's interpretation. Really good. Black Widow has been a great character because she had that mix of vulnerability and, downright badassery, which was awesome. You have like Gamora and Nebula. both strong female characters in the MCU, and they've got the right mix of strength and tragedy without necessarily needing to shove it down people's throats. Again, phrasing. So I think it just need to smarten up the writing a little bit, in my own opinion. And I'm not intending to be sexist. What anybody knows me knows I'm a feminist, and I support equality across the board, no matter what. I just think that they're being given a disservice when they shouldn't be. I think there you need to show that you can be strong, but have that vulnerability to you. A little chink in the armor, a little bit of weakness. You think about some of the leading ladies in just all science fiction and any roles, like Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, they all had they were all human. They had human elements. It wasn't a case of they were just indestructible badasses. They were fragile. They had flaws. They were well-rounded characters. I think if they write a character the way they would for a male superhero, and don't overanalyze the fact that they're meant to be a woman or a minority or a supposed minority, then you'll get better writing. Write it as if you're going to write it for a guy, but just put a female character in that position. But yeah, that's just my opinion. A wee bit of a rant, but still my opinion. So, Kev, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm really annoyed and saddened by the fact that these two shows and film are getting the negative reviews and stuff that they've been getting. Especially recently, Brie Larson was asked at an interview if she wants to play Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel again, and she's like, I don't know. Do the fans really want me back? And it's like, well, why wouldn't they? I mean, the character came in. I mean, she auditioned, got the part. So obviously, she's been the best person for the job. She came in, she done the job. The film I thought was really good. I liked the film. I've enjoyed the film. And all this negativity around it. It's all Captain Marvel, this, Captain Marvel, that. It's like, just watch it. Have you read any of the comics? Have you seen any of the other media about it? Do you understand the story about how they're doing it? It's it's like being toxic for the sake of being toxic. It's like, oh, they're saying bad things, I'll just go say bad things. It's the biggest heap of shite I've ever seen. Is all this negativity about things? Like I was saying earlier about the fans saying, oh, they're all super soldiers about the Thunderbolts. It's like, well, yeah, that's the characters they've got. That's who they've written in. So that's where they're going to go. I mean, Ms. Marvel is the way that they're going to introduce mutants into the MCU. With the way it ended, that's the way they're going to go with that. Obviously, the next series isn't going to be for like another year or two. It's been commissioned. They've said, yes, that is getting a series 2 after the Marvels film. And the negativity that series got, just because she's Muslim, that, yes, that's what the character is. It's it's the same character from the comics. They've just made a live action version of it. They've done it a bit different, how she got her powers, but that's the way they're going. We know that different comics, there's different universes, different versions of them. As we know about the multiverse, these things happen. They come out, they change things here and there. The comics, different versions, different origins. But ultimately, this was hers, and they're not going to change too much of the character. Part of the fact about her character is she's a Muslim. That's that. And a lot of the racist hate that got because how can they have a Muslim superhero? It's like, because they can. There's a new series being put in the works about an Israeli superhero. No matter what your political thoughts are on that, they are there. They're in the Marvel universe. So don't just jump on the bandwagon about saying, oh, this and that, this and that. It's woke. Oh, they have to have this. They have no. That's just the characters. They've had them for years. They're just starting to put them out in other forms of media. And then the whole She-Hulk thing. Oh, why does there have to be a female Hulk? Because there does. It's in the comics. It's been in the comics since the 80s. So that's why they're doing a series about it. And it's not about She-Hulk. It's a lawyer show, apparently. I've not seen much lawyering, but there's it's a lawyer show. And it just happens to be that she is She-Hulk. I mean, I don't know. It's hate for the sake of hate. Really, it sounds like to me. I've enjoyed the series. I've seen the 3 episodes that have been out. I've enjoyed it. Ms. Marvel, I enjoyed that. It's an enjoyable series. Captain Marvel, like I said, I enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to the Marvels film. I don't understand where the hate's coming from. These films and series haven't been terrible. It's not like they've come out and said, oh, that was like the worst film ever. That was the worst series ever. It's not like that. I mean, they're saying, She-Hulk's twerking, and yet people are like, oh, Thor's arse is it? Thor's arse is it? That's great. So what's the difference? Seems to be the difference is Thor's male, She-Hulk's female. To me, that's the only things that are different. The twerking scene in She-Hulk, it's like, it's a stupid wee scene at the end of the show. It didn't really have any relevance. It doesn't set up the next episode. It's just a stupid wee scene because the She-Hulk actress is a big fan of Megan Thee Stallion. So she's like, oh yeah, I get to dance with her. And that was it. It's just, it's starting to really, really bug me. And they're saying we don't want these things to happen. We don't want this, we don't want that. As fans, we don't want that. Well, tough shit. That's what they're making. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. You can just obviously go on and watch the next thing that you'll like. If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything. If you don't like it, you don't need to tell the world why you don't like it. Just say to yourself, I don't like this, I'm not going to watch it. There's been a lot of series things that have come out that I've watched and it's like, I don't like that. I've never watched it again. There's people out there who watch an episode of something and go, no for me. That's fine. You don't need to go out your way to say you don't like something. Just don't watch it.
Well, there's been some interesting points raised on this episode of Super Geeked, a very unique episode of Super Geeked, I must say. Kev, I do want to thank you for recording your answers and sending them to me. Hopefully next week we will be back to our normal structure and we could be back to full capacity. Sadly, Rosie couldn't make it because she's unwell. We're wishing her a speedy recovery. Susan's still sunning herself in Greece. And hopefully we'll have both the ladies back, and we'll have a full complement. We'll have 4 people on the next episode of Super Geeked. But we'll see what happens. So until next time, everybody, Kev has been Super, I have been Ginge, and we are out of here. Bye bye.